CBS, the radio network that invented television empire. In 1927, a 26-year-old heir to a cigar fortune made what seemed like an impulsive purchase that would change American entertainment forever. William Paley bought a struggling radio network called the Columbia Broadcasting System for $503,000, roughly $7 million in today's money. The network was hemorrhaging money, had only 16 affiliate stations, and was considered a distant third behind NBC's two networks. But Paley saw something others missed. He understood that radio wasn't just about technology or even programming. It was about creating an intimate relationship with audiences that could translate into unprecedented influence and profit. Within 5 years, CBS would become America's most profitable radio network. Within 25 years, it would pioneer the television empire model that every media company still follows today. This is the story of how one young executive transformed a failing radio venture into an entertainment colossus that would dominate American culture for nearly a century. Paley's genius wasn't immediately obvious. Born into wealth as the son of a successful cigar manufacturer, he had discovered radio's commercial potential when his family's company, La Palina Cigars, sponsored a radio program and saw sales skyrocket by 200% in just 10 weeks. When he heard that CBS was for sale, he convinced his father to loan him the money, promising to revolutionize how radio operated. His first innovation was deceptively simple but game-changing. Instead of charging affiliate stations for programming like NBC did, Paley would pay them to carry CBS shows and sell the advertising himself. This reversed revenue model meant CBS could guarantee national reach to advertisers while building loyalty among station owners. By 1930, CBS had grown from 16 to 70 affiliates, and Paley had discovered the fundamental principle that would guide his empire for decades: give away the content, control the audience, dominate the advertising revenue. The 1930s saw Paley perfect the art of programming that would become the CBS formula. He understood that radio was theater of the mind, and he hired the best voices and writers money could buy. CBS became home to Bing Crosby, whose crooning style was perfectly suited to the intimate medium of radio. The network launched the Mercury Theater on the Air, which featured a young Orson Welles whose 1938 War of the Worlds broadcast was so realistic it caused national panic and proved radio's unprecedented power to reach and influence millions simultaneously. Paley also recognized that news could be as compelling as entertainment, hiring Edward R. Murrow in 1935 and building the first truly national news organization. During World War II, Murrow's broadcasts from London during the Blitz made CBS the most trusted name in journalism and established the network's reputation for serious, credible reporting that would last for generations. By 1940, CBS was generating annual revenues of $28 million and had become more profitable than NBC, despite being newer and smaller. But Paley's true vision extended far beyond radio. As early as the late 1930s, he was investing in television research and development, understanding that this new medium would eventually replace radio as America's primary entertainment source. When commercial television finally launched after World War II, CBS was ready with a crucial advantage. They had spent 2 decades learning how to create programming that connected emotionally with audiences. The network's television strategy was built on what became known as the Paley principle, programming that appealed to the largest possible audience while maintaining enough quality to attract advertisers willing to pay premium rates. CBS launched Toast of the Town, hosted by Ed Sullivan, which became The Ed Sullivan Show and ran for 23 years, introducing Americans to Elvis Presley, the Beatles, and virtually every major entertainer of the era. The show's June 1956 Elvis appearance drew 60 million viewers, 82% of the television audience, demonstrating television's power to create shared national experiences on a scale never before possible. The 1950s and 1960s represented CBS's golden age, when Paley's programming instincts created what critics called the Tiffany Network for its consistent quality and cultural influence. I Love Lucy, which premiered in 1951, revolutionized television production by filming in Hollywood instead of broadcasting live from New York, creating the rerun industry that would become a billion-dollar business.
The show's stars, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, negotiated ownership of their episodes, a precedent that would reshape how television content was valued and distributed. CBS dominated primetime with shows like The Honeymooners, Gunsmoke, which ran for 20 seasons and 635 episodes, and The Andy Griffith Show. More importantly, CBS News, led by Walter Cronkite beginning in 1962, became America's most trusted news source. Cronkite's nightly broadcast regularly drew 25 million viewers, and his influence was so significant that President Johnson reportedly said after Cronkite criticized the Vietnam War, "If I've lost Cronkite, I've lost Middle America." Paley's empire building extended beyond programming into vertical integration that would become the standard model for media companies. CBS owned television and radio stations in major markets, giving them direct access to local advertising revenue and ensuring their programming reached key audiences. The company owned CBS Records, which signed artists like Bob Dylan, Barbra Streisand, and later Michael Jackson, whose Thriller became the best-selling album of all time. CBS also owned Fender Guitars, the New York Yankees from 1973 to 1977, and various publishing companies, creating a multimedia empire that could cross-promote content across platforms. This diversification strategy meant that CBS could reduce risk while maximizing revenue from successful properties. A hit song could be performed on a CBS variety show, promoted on CBS radio stations, and covered by CBS News, creating multiple revenue streams from a single piece of content. The 1970s brought new challenges as the television landscape became more competitive with the rise of ABC and changing audience tastes. Paley, now in his 70s, made one of his boldest decisions by completely overhauling CBS's programming lineup in what became known as the Rural Purge. Despite high ratings, the network canceled successful shows like The Beverly Hillbillies and Green Acres and Petticoat Junction because they attracted older rural audiences that advertisers considered less valuable. CBS replaced them with sophisticated urban comedies like All in the Family, The Mary Tyler Moore Show, MASH, and Maude that tackled social issues and attracted younger, more affluent viewers. This risky strategy paid off spectacularly. CBS dominated the 1970s ratings while these shows became cultural touchstones that influenced American attitudes toward race, feminism, war, and social change. All in the Family was the #1 show in America for 5 consecutive years, and proved that television could be both massively popular and culturally significant. CBS continued this programming excellence into the 1980s with shows like Dallas, whose Who Shot JR cliffhanger drew 83 million viewers, still one of the highest-rated episodes in television history. However, the media landscape was changing rapidly with the rise of cable television, home video, and new competitors. In 1986, Paley sold CBS to Lawrence Tisch for $5.4 billion, ending the founder's nearly 60-year control of the company. Under various owners, including a 1995 merger with Westinghouse and a 1999 purchase by Viacom, CBS adapted to the new media environment while maintaining its core strength in mass appeal programming. The network found success with procedural dramas like CSI, Crime Scene Investigation, which spawned multiple spin-offs and became one of the most popular television franchises globally, and reality shows like Survivor and Big Brother that attracted younger audiences while maintaining the broad appeal that had always been CBS's hallmark.
The digital age has brought both challenges and opportunities for CBS as it transforms from a traditional broadcaster into a multimedia content company. CBS All Access, launched in 2014 and later rebranded as Paramount Plus, represents the network's entry into streaming services that compete directly with Netflix and Disney Plus. The service features exclusive content like Star Trek Discovery and The Good Fight, while offering access to CBS's vast library of classic shows and live sports programming. CBS has maintained its position as America's most watched television network for 15 of the last 17 years, proving that the Paley formula of broad appeal programming remains relevant in an era of infinite entertainment choices. Shows like The Big Bang Theory, which concluded in 2019 as television's most popular comedy, and NCIS, which has run for over 20 seasons, demonstrate that CBS's understanding of mainstream American tastes continues to drive massive audiences and advertising revenue. Today, CBS operates as part of Paramount Global following a 2019 merger with Viacom, but its influence on American entertainment and business remains immeasurable. The company that William Paley purchased for $500,000 generated over $14 billion in revenue in 2022, with CBS Network alone contributing nearly $5 billion. More importantly, CBS created the blueprint for how media empires operate. Invest in quality programming that attracts large audiences, sell that audience attention to advertisers at premium rates, own the content to generate long-term revenue through reruns and licensing, and diversify across multiple platforms to reduce risk and maximize reach. This model has been copied by every major media company and streaming service. From its pioneering work in radio news to its creation of the modern television sitcom, from its innovation in sports broadcasting to its adaptation to streaming services, CBS has consistently demonstrated that successful media empires are built not just on technology or distribution, but on an understanding of what audiences want to see and hear. William Paley's greatest insight was that entertainment is ultimately about human connection, and the companies that facilitate those connections most effectively will always command the highest value in the marketplace. That principle, proven over nearly a century of American broadcasting, remains the foundation of every successful media empire today.